Hey, Dave Fannin here with the Body Farm Personal Training Fitness Boot Camps. The supplement pyramid, powders, bars, and pre-mixed liquids. What works best and when? Because it's a common question, and I think a lot of people get this wrong. And there's a way to use supplements that for best practices. You know, anytime you're improving your nutrition, increasing your protein intake with supplements, and just trying to eat better, you really can't screw it up. This is more of an intermediate or advanced level to get you thinking about what works best for you. But if you're making improvements, you're eating an apple instead of the Three Musketeers, you're going in the right direction. Don't worry about this too much. But if you're looking at very best practices when it comes to supplements, you have powders, which you have to add water or skim milk to and shake them up and go. Or you have bars, or you have pre-mixed liquids. And so when you're looking at daily use, we recommend using just powders because there's less preservatives and chemicals in this because you're trying to pick your battles and you want to have the least amount of processing as possible, especially if you're using something on a daily basis. And that's the beauty of using the powders is they don't have a lot of processing, a lot of chemicals, or at least they have less than is required for these other two products. Powders are a base, and I have people, you know, one of the dirty little secrets of like people who are fit for life, there's only two things that they eat for breakfast. They either eat eggs and oatmeal, or they have a meal replacement shake, or a protein shake. And you can talk to 10,000 people who have literally been working out all their life, and you'll say, what do you have for breakfast? They'll say, oh, a protein shake. It's very simple. And that's why, it's because it works is why they do it. And so steal from people that have found what works best and, you know, model their behavior and you'll see good results. So if you're going to use a meal replacement or a supplement on a daily basis, which I recommend over time if necessary to get your protein in, use a powder because it has the least amount of processing and you can mix it. It's not time consuming. You don't need a blender. It's not 1980 anymore. Use a spoon, just like Nestle Quick. You spit it, stir it up, drink it, you're out the door in less than a minute. Number two, a little bit more processing than the powders because it takes a number of chemicals and preservatives to keep these things solid and able to be put on the shelf for, well, sometimes months or even years. And I do like the RX bars. Kind of got to find a flavor. They're very simple. There's not a lot of things in there, and somehow they've made small portion size. Egg whites, dates, egg whites, almonds, cashews, chocolate, cocoa, natural flavors, and sea salt. Contains eggs, almonds, and cashews. That's not a bad little mix for something that you can grab and go, and they're actually pretty filling. And you can actually do one of these like 30 minutes, 45 minutes before you work out. If you're like running behind, you're like, holy shit, I haven't eaten like hours. And it doesn't tend to cause any nausea. There's some, you know, very simple food, and I do like this bar, and you have to figure out what works best for you. But at the same time, bars can tend to contain more preservatives, more chemicals to keep them on the shelf longer. And remember, the more processing that's required, the less you want to take that in, especially on a daily basis. But pick your battles. And then the last, this is what I always tell people, if it's only for an emergency. These contain a lot of chemicals and a lot of preservatives to keep them on the shelf for years at a time, and that's just the way it is. It's a worst case scenario, and you know, if you get stuck, you're in between. You know, this is one of the things that we did in the 7-Eleven convenience store. It's a great grab and go thing. Now, at the end of the day though, you want to pick your battles. If you're doing this and it's this or a Big Mac every day, hell yeah, pick this. But if you have choices, go with a powder on a daily basis and use this as a backup in an emergency. Put one in your car, one at the office, have a couple at the house. In the worst case scenario, this is your backup because there's so many preservatives and chemicals in here to make this thing stable and able to stay on the shelf for years and years at a time. It's not something, if you're talking about best practices, that you want to do on a daily basis. So that's the supplement pyramid as far as like how you can best use or best practices for supplements. So down the road, remember, powders, if you're doing it every day, increase your protein very easily by doing 1 protein or 2 protein shakes a day. Uses a meal replacement. If you get stuck, you can use a bar or even like as a pre-workout. It will get you through, you know, if you're missing a meal. And then worst case scenario, like a muscle milk that you can get out of a convenience store, or it's just pre-made, because there's so many chemicals and so many preservatives. It's not something that you want to, if you're looking at best practices, do on a daily basis. And that's the supplement pyramid. I hope that helps you. And like I said, if you're eating an apple instead of 3 Musketeers, you're going the right direction. Pick your battles, and I hope you guys have a great week. I'm Dave Fannin with the Body Firm Personal Training Fitness Boot Camps. If you like this video, like it, share it, comment below. I'll talk to you guys later.